Hi there, just recording a video here on how to use a Kinect 1 or a version 2 as it's known with Mac OS and using some of the features of Madmapper. So first thing we're going to just talk about here is the actual sensor itself and using it with a Mac computer. And then we'll go through a quick demonstration. But yeah, basically I'm on Madmapper version 5.2.0, the latest version right now as of 29th of November 2022. And this version, basically we were notified with an email saying that it supported Mac OS and Kinect, which isn't exactly a new thing, but it was new to me because up until this point, I always thought that the Mac computers did not recognize the Kinect at all, due to just the Microsoft manufacturing and those kind of things. So yeah, I had been using the Kinect with Touch Designer on a Windows computer up until now, but for some of the more basic Kinect interactive installations that I've worked on, Madmapper would actually be a far better solution. So what I'll do is I'll just go through this process, and yeah, if anyone has any questions or anything like that, just feel free to leave them in the comment section below. So first thing we're looking at is the actual Xbox sensor itself. So that would be this guy here. This is the Xbox One sensor. So that is actually version 2 of the Kinect. One refers to the console that this was released with, the Xbox One, which is not the first iteration of Xbox, which is what one of the confusing factors for me anyway. But yeah, essentially this Kinect is the version 2 of the Kinect, which was released with the Xbox One, which to the best of my knowledge was the third console in the Xbox series. So yeah, fun to remember all that. So anyway, the first thing you can see is the sensor. The next thing is this is the PC adapter here. So essentially the feed from the Kinect. So this cable right here, this is hardwired to the Kinect, and then this just plugs straight into the adapter here. Coming out of this, we have a power supply. So this power supply just comes into this little transformer here, and then this is going into our mains plug. This guy here is the USB cable that is going from USB A to A. So interestingly with that, it is a kind of a tough one to find a replacement cable for that actually works. So if anyone does have any I guess like a link to replacement USB A to A just to have a spare, that would be great, because any of the ones I've bought on any of the component websites have not worked. So I think there's some kind of either proprietary kind of cable like wiring, or else it might require an active USB cable or something along those lines. So yeah, so that's the setup. As I said, this is going into a Mac computer. So there is the Mac in question, and I have a separate display connected up here for Madmapper right now. So OBS just recording the video on my computer screen, and Madmapper will be on the TV screen here. So yeah, so that's a lot of the hardware and end of things. So what I'll do is just switch us over here, and now we should be seeing Madmapper. Okay, so when you have Madmapper downloaded, installed, all that, you go into the preferences here. So go to about, or just Madmapper, and then underneath it go to preferences. Then go to the general section, and you'll see an option to enable Kinect 1 support. So one thing that kind of threw me off a little bit when I did this first was, if I flick back to this, you'll see the light is on here on the Xbox sensor, and you can see the infrared, you can see the actual camera. That was not on when I started to do this for the first time, even though it was all connected up to power and everything. So essentially the Kinect needs to receive data from the computer for it to then look on, if that makes sense. So yeah, what I would have done is when I went to the preferences window and I selected this box, that would have made the Kinect come to life. So it kind of, brought on the lights and all that kind of thing. So yeah, just so you know, this box needs to be ticked here. So the next thing we'll go to is our just our different sources here. So on this, you can see we have the materials, gradients, that type of thing, laser materials, lighting, and then we have our live inputs. So in this case, say if I was to take FaceTime, you should see me there. That's my camera. Then we have like NDI, which should see the iPhone's video stream there. Oh no, sorry, this one should do the job, hopefully. Nope, not today. Well, I guess it's being used in OBS right now, so maybe that's a factor. But either way, we do have the Kinect RGB, Kinect infrared, and Kinect depth sensors here as well. So if I was to go to the Kinect RGB, drag and drop that, you'll just see the camera. So that's the RGB, or that's the Kinect camera itself seeing me. Then the infrared looks like this, which is not being clearly displayed on, so that doesn't quite come through on OBS for some reason. So you'll see it's like, what I'll do is I'll just flip us over here again to the iPhone. So it looks a little something like that. So yeah, OBS doesn't want to see it for some reason, but yeah, you can see it on the TV itself there. And then the Kinect depth sensor is this guy. So that's what that looks like. So there are live inputs from the Kinect itself there. And essentially what we want to do is we want to utilize the built-in Madmapper features to kind of just to get it going. So the first one I'll demonstrate here is the depth masker. So what I'll just do is put the color pattern back on here just to avoid any confusion. So I don't need to drop any of those inputs onto the quad at all. All I need to do is actually use the generators that are kind of go with these. So in this case, the depth masker, and next will be the particle system. So the depth, if I drag and drop that on to the quad, okay, so it's showing a feed in here, and it's showing the test card as the media kind of going with it, so that you'll see the blocky kind of black and white stuff. So as part of a project I worked on, what I would have done here is I would have loaded in some footage, and the footage would have been revealed by the user. So the user, as they get to a certain point on the Kinect, the sensor reveals the footage. So the masker is working like where the shape of the user or the audience member or the person is actually revealing the background image rather than cutting out an image. So yeah, I'll demonstrate all of this anyway. So here's the video footage. If I drag and drop that, no, actually I don't need to drag and drop. What I need to do is go to the depth masker generator, go to media, and then I will see a screen that's on my other it's on my other monitor right now. So let me just see if I can get that to show. So click on our test card again. So it's just down a little bit there. So I'll just scroll this guy down. Should be able to see it now. Media. Nah, you can see the top of it there. For some reason, Madmapper doesn't let you move this window around. I don't know why. It's quite annoying. But either way, I am just selecting a video file here on the bottom section. So there it is. Okay. And I'm going to hide this guy again. Okay, so now we can see that there's a video in the background, and if I am to move my hands, we can see there's some kind of effect there coming through. So what I want to do is I want to get the Kinect to kind of pick up on a small enough scale. So I'm going to set the minimum and max depth here. So there you go. You can see now my position reveals the video in the background there. So move my hands around, and if I move my chair back, I should basically stop kind of revealing. Yeah, there you go. So as I walk up to it, it reveals it. So this guy is my microphone here, and that's the depth masker, which is quite cool. Definitely can be messed with. You need to have the Kinect depth selected here on this, because it only takes depth data. It will not work with the IR. So so the other one then that we can kind of demonstrate here would be the particle system. So if I click on the plus symbol on this, of course it doesn't quite show it again. Let's see if it just brings it up here, because it's a bit of a weird one. Yeah, okay, so this is popping up on my other screen for some reason. Madmapper, as I said, does not let me move this window over. Not sure if it's just a glitch or if it's my computer or something like that, but yeah, bit annoying. So what we're going to do is select the GPU particles here. So click that guy. I'm going to hide this kind of little capture again. Okay, and now you can see we've got GPU here. So what I'll do is I'll drag and drop GPU into the quad. And that is our particle system. I'm going to turn up the amount of particles to 250,000. Turn down the speed. Turn on wall collision. And maybe turn up my damping here. And I'm going to change the color to just be a plain white. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just restart this. And there it is. And now what I need to do is I need to enable an external force. So if I go to my image, change that to the Kinect, we'll go with the depth sensor here and maybe try the IR, see which one is best. So we have that in. I'm going to turn the power all the way up. I'm going to invert the force and I'm going to enable the external force here. Okay, so depth is crazy. Depth does not really work with this, as you can see. So it's too much information. The particles are just shooting everywhere. It just doesn't really make sense. Even if you turn down your power, it just does not really do what we're looking for it to do. You can see some kind of bit of movement there, but yeah, nothing too great. So what I'll do is I'll change it from the depth to the IR. So again, that window that I've just tried to bring up there is just not showing on here. So good times. I'm just going to go for Kinect IR, infrared. Close this window again. Now you can see it's the image here is Kinect IR. And yeah, it should see a bit of movement here. What I'll do is I'll just turn up power again. And I'm going to restart the particles up here and just see. Okay, so now you can start to see some movement. So now my hand is completely, it's having an effect on it there. So yeah, you can really just mess around with these settings here to get it nice and sweet. You'll find your sweet spots there. I like this the way it is now. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a nice little effect, and definitely can be fun for people to play with. So yeah, nice to have the Kinect working in Touch Designer or in Madmapper here without having to use Touch Designer, particularly for the more basic things here. But I would say that Touch Designer does allow you a lot more control here than the than Madmapper does. So like this is useful for a lot of like fun little installations, but anything that requires a little bit more kind of depth or I guess tweaking or adjustments, it's going to have to be another software that you can essentially add blurs and add different things that make the entire say depth or infrared feed look that little bit smoother. That's the name of the game really. But yeah, definitely fun here. As you can see, it's definitely got a bit of like playfulness about it. I'd say definitely worth your while messing with settings and that. See what works for you. I like this one. It's kind of nice and plain and yeah, in this case what I'd do is I'd probably put the sensor up similarly to how I have it displayed right now. So if I was to turn on my screen, so I'd have the sensor again just there, and I'd probably put a projector screen up behind it. So instead of there being like a TV there, that would be a projector screen, and then that image will be projection mapped onto the screen so that the user is just having a bit of fun with a large scale projection rather than say a TV or whatever. But yeah, so that's it. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, or haven't done anything clearly enough, by all means leave a comment and I will try and get back to you as soon as I can. So thank you very much.